Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here, coming at you from the woods behind the Knife Center. And just recently, a few of us attended the annual gathering that was put on by Mr. L.T. Wright, and he's one of the premier names in the bushcraft knife and outdoor knife community. Now, the bushcraft and survival communities certainly have a lot of overlap and things in common, but bushcraft especially is a skills-based approach to not just surviving, but thriving off of the wilderness. Oftentimes, bushcrafters will look towards skills used by Aboriginal and primitive man before the modern era really reshaped our way of life. But there's a bit more to it than that. Bushcrafters are not only passionate about what we do, we're passionate about our knives as well. If you want to know what to look for in a good bushcraft knife, you can check out the link to our video with L.T. Wright himself, who gave us a few pointers on the subject. But to find out what makes bushcraft truly special, we talked to a bunch of our friends at this event to get their take, and here's what they had to say.
You know, basically it's, a group of guys and girls and kids who are interested in the outdoors, interested in outdoor skills, that come together to share knowledge. And, we're all kind of gear addicts too and stuff. So we get together, everybody gets to see the latest gear people have, the latest knives, the custom work. Particularly this setting, custom stuff is big. But it's a chance to essentially meet with like-minded people that you might not see every day.
I think my favorite part about coming to events like this is seeing people who I've known for over 15 years and then just meeting people for the first time and really, like hitting off with all of them, just meeting people who are really into almost everything you're into as far as the knife world goes to, because that's rare if you're just like walking around outside and some guy wants to talk to you about stocks or football or something like that, and you're just like, man, I'm just trying to figure out if I want to play with AEBL or not or something like that. And so all these people, whether you've known them forever or known them just right away, they're still like someone that you can just pick up a conversation with. So here you have a chance to really be one-on-one with people and talk with them for a while, and it's a little bit cooler because you have the ambiance of the campfire. You have the chance to just go out there and carve something up with the machete just to do it, and then you also have a chance to hang out with your friends.
Hanging out with bushcraft guys are great, and one of my biggest fun things to do is to go around and watch how someone does a feather stick or a bow drill board or making a pot hook, different things. How quick can they start a fire? I love that stuff.
Just everybody is so eager to give you whatever you need, to help out, to show you things, to just get to know you, and it's just such a welcoming environment. And the skills learned or participating in the activities, that's all bonus. Just being here and during the crappy weather, it's all worth it.
The fellowship, if you will, the camaraderie, just people talking and sharing stories about their life and about how they got interested into bushcraft or survival or whatever it is, even just camping and different styles of camping, and the sharing of knowledge. Because I'm from Minnesota, there's a lot of people, we're in Pennsylvania right now, I have a lot of friends from down south. There are certain methods and tips and tricks and materials down south that I don't have access to up north, and vice versa. So when you get together with a nice group like this, you can share camping experiences, how to take your kids camping the best way, the things that you learned about taking your kids camping when they were in diapers, or things about different tips and tricks with birch bark that they may not have here in Pennsylvania that I know how to work with up in Minnesota. So just the camaraderie and the absolute willingness and openness to share all of the knowledge that folks have gained throughout their lifetimes.
And everybody's willing to share the knowledge. The information is like, yeah, man, come over here, sit down, I'll show you how to do this. And sit down, and all of a sudden you make a tri-stick. It's great fun.
For the person just getting into the scene of bushcraft, don't be inundated by all this expensive gear that all these bushcrafters use all over the internet, and they don't have a picture of a burn mark on them. Just getting out there and doing stuff. I've met people out in the jungle who are way better carvers than me with a broken butcher knife. and can outcarve everything with me just because that's the tool that they use. And the trash bag that they have tied to sticks is their backpack, and they can out-hike all of these bushcrafters because they're out there doing stuff. So experience has a huge replacement over your gear set. So relax and figure out, oh man, I've got 5 different cheap cups. Now I'm gonna go for that expensive cup, that expensive knife, that tent that is exactly the tent style that I want, that makes me comfortable. So don't worry about having to spend too much money right off the bat.
You know, typically these events, we get people from all over the place. You know, East Coast all the way out to Arizona for this trip. Some of the past ones we've done in the years, we've had guys from Australia, guys from England come, and it's a really unique experience to be able to just share that kind of knowledge and just share the time and the stories and talking to people that have similar interests in learning outdoor survival skills, learning bushcraft skills, learning knife skills, and that type of stuff. And that, you know, that's really the key.
I think that's a sole foundation of the group here is we like to buy knives, we like getting ourselves muddy, we like just to hang out with other people in big groups around a campfire and have a central passion, which is, you know, the blade. And I mean, that's why you're watching this on YouTube or wherever right now, is probably because you have an interest in knives. And when you couple that with some of the other things you're passionate about, it all just kind of comes together, and then you meet people who are as interested in it as you are.
Bushcraft community as a whole, number one, we all love our knives, we love our gear. So there's a lot of different checking out, hey, look at your wool jacket versus my wool jacket, and your hat and your knife, and what can you do with your bushcraft tools. So that is a fantastic thing.
I met a lot of people who had more knives than me on there, who like to go out camping even more than I did, and it really bloomed to figure out when we'd all get together and hang out in the woods. Everybody would bring their knives to show off, everybody would teach other people new skills, everybody would just camp around a campfire and have a good time. And that's where all the camaraderie of, I think, bushcraft comes from. As far as going on like actual bushcraft expeditions, there's a whole nother set of camaraderie that goes on with that.
As a writer, I get a lot of material and a lot of inspiration out of these trips, but even when I wasn't writing, and even if I wasn't writing now, I'd still do these trips just for the experience of the people. In some ways, it's easier when you're not doing writing because you really can spend the time just talking to people, learning stuff. Every trip I go on, I learn something new. Sometimes it's a class that I'm actually sitting through, you know, deliberately thinking, you know, I'll pick something up. But a lot of times it's just the interaction. You know, just talking to somebody, or just you're doing something around the campsite and somebody will come over, help you out, and they have a different way of doing things. So it's that personal interaction. You know, I've made a ton of close friends through these events. You know, Spen Stelzer from JRE Industries, Leather, I was Spen's best man at his wedding. We met through the Outdoor Survival Forum years ago. We've become very close friends. You know, and I've got dozens of people over the years that I've met like that. LT Wright that hosts this event. Me and LT go back further than that to whenever he was just an individual knife maker setting up at the old gun shows in Monroeville, which is outside of Pittsburgh. You know, that's where we first met. And 20 years later, you know, we're still very close friends. So yeah, absolutely. If it's anything that brings me here, it's the people.